Good evening, everybody. This is the launch evening presentation for our new Purple Tries that are joining us in September. I'm really sorry that you couldn't make the evening, and I hope this recording goes some way to explain what we talked about on the evening. If you do have any questions, please email them into school and we'll do everything we can to answer any of the questions that you have. The email address is at the end of the presentation. I'll give you them then. The school's based values that we've redone this year: respect, courage, responsibility, kindness and resilience, and also pride that disappears down the middle there. And this whole presentation is framed around those things, just to explain how we ensure that those values are well practiced and the students have opportunities to improve their skills in them. What happened on the evening was that I had 3 year 13s with me. They didn't look like this. This was pictures of them when they were in year 7. They actually all three look very, very different now, ready after 7 years with us to go off to the next phase of their education. And they explained what it was like from their point of view, being someone that had been through the school. It was really nice to hear how they'd remembered their first session at IGS and how much IGS had changed them. So my thanks to them on the evening. Unfortunately, they can't be with me at the minute to do their presentation, but I'm sure you'll get the idea that my reasoning behind this is to make sure that you see this is a 5 or 7 year journey that we're just embarking on here, just at the start of this process. The transition process is really well planned to make sure that all stakeholders, the young people and yourselves, are well informed, have all the details that you need to ensure that smooth transition. And we do that in lots of different ways. The first thing that we do is what's called a roadshow. So myself, Mrs. Varley, who's the Student Support and Transition Manager for Year 6 into 7, and the Head of Year, Mrs. McManus, will come down to the students' primary schools. We come to all the partnership primary schools, and there will be a recorded version on for anyone that either misses it or can't make any of those. And what we do really is meet the students on their turf, just to answer those initial questions, give a presentation similar to this actually, just so they know what to expect and can ask all the questions that they come up with in a safe environment as such, which is their own classroom. So those will be happening quite soon after the May half term. What I will do with all these details is I will be writing to you all shortly, and I will outline when all these road shows are and all the other things that are going on as well. So there's no need to copy this down as such. I'll be writing to you with all the dates shortly. During that roadshow window as such, we're also collecting a lot of data from the primary schools, so speaking to the year 6 teachers, speaking to the students, the staff that know the students so well, and gathering things that they doing academically, what they're like as a person, how they get on with others and so on, and making sure that we can start to build my 11 tutor groups, because there are 318 students joining us in September, and I've got to build 11 tutor groups of 28 from the different partnership primary schools, and ensure that there's balance in them. So obviously the data that we collect from the primary schools is a big part of that. It's great that we can actually redo this. We've had to pause this during the pandemic years. So what we do have is what's called One Amazing Day. So what happens then is the students come up as a primary school. So for example, the Ashlands will come up on a certain day and spend a slightly shorter day with us, with their school staff as well. And they have a few sample lessons. They might go to a Spanish lesson, they might go to a science lesson, they might have a maths lesson and that sort of thing, just to get them an idea of what the scale of our site and what's expected in the classroom. They were really successful before the pandemic, so it's great to be able to put those on again. One of the other legacies of the pandemic is doing things like this, really. Because we couldn't meet face to face, we've all got quite good at working with things like Teams and YouTube Live. And what I will do is, they were so successful, I will put myself up on Teams, and you can join us on the evening or watch the recording. And it's just those first chances. I tend to do 3 sessions: one about the curriculum, one about behaviour and safeguarding, and then another one to ask any other questions that you might have and any other things that you need to know about. So we will keep those going out. Again, I'll send you the details of those on the letter. I'm delighted to be able to have the welcome day this year. So this is the first time that all the students, all 318 of them, will meet us, and that's on Thursday the 13th of July. They'll all be in their primary school uniform at that point, but they will get to meet their tutor as long as they're available. A lot of the tutors are Year 11 tutors that are coming down from the Year 11 team. Mrs McManus herself is the current head of Year 11, so he's sort of dropping down to pick up the Year 7. It's the first opportunity at that point to meet your tutor group and the other people that were within it, and obviously your tutor as well. That very same day will be the next time we will meet all the parents, and you hopefully will get a chance to meet the tutor as well. That's an opportunity for one final presentation before the summer from the head teacher and from the deputy head teachers, just to outline some more of the detail about the school, and your last opportunity to ask us any questions before the summer break. We also make sure that the uniform suppliers, etc., are there on the evening, so you can get those last little bits of uniform ready for for September. We have been able to restart again after the pandemic was this really successful. The day after, on the Friday the 14th of July, there will be a transition sports day on our field, an opportunity to get all the students together once again. Hopefully the weather's very good and they can spend the day on our field doing sporting and outdoor activities with our sports team and sports eye leaders. And then the last bit of the jigsaw is to get the students in September. Their first day on site will be just them, so it's just Year 7 that are on site. Year 12 do come in just to have a meeting with their tutor, but they won't be noticed, so it's just Year 7 on site. An idea to get them settled into school and give them an opportunity while it's quiet to get to know the building and how things work. The next day everybody else is in, so Years 8 to 13 are in with us, and it obviously starts as busy as it would be normally then. Within that, for the second week of the half term, what we do just to increase that team building opportunity is that they will visit Nell Bank, just on the other side of the river from Ilka Grammar School, and have a day of team building with their tutor group. Again, something that the students really remember, and the head boy and the head students really explain how they remembered doing those things themselves. Just to give you a flavour of what we do at Ilka Grammar School, we've, alongside the values statements, we've also got this, what's called the personal development wheel. And actually I've framed this presentation around that personal development wheel, just to give you a flavour of what the school does and how we do it. So I'm going to go around these 8 sections here and talk about how we do things. And I just think it frames really nicely how Ilka Grammar School operates as a system, and the things that we're trying to get out of them. A pretty good job of this, and you can see some of the accreditations that we receive as a school here. I'm sure you recognise some of those things there, but mental health is very high profile, quality and diversity, and the SSAT for the curriculum that we have as well. So it is important that we do gain these awards and recognition, because it really does count and show what a great system we have at IGS. So just to work my way through things, I'm just starting with the most important thing, I suppose, is ensuring that the students are well taught. We have a really fantastic group of committed staff that can really deliver the curriculum in a super way, and one of our deputy head teacher, Miss Clawton, who's responsible for the curriculum, works really hard to ensure that it's world class, and it does stand the test of time. With the iPad is an important part of that, and I'll talk about that later in the presentation, because you should hopefully have already received an email from us about the iPad scheme and how that works. The timetable itself, we do run a 2-week timetable, so there's a week A and a week B. It does get the students a little bit of time to get used to it, but basically that's an important part to try and ensure that students have a really broad amount of subjects that they do, and a really broad, particularly in Key Stage 3, a really broad opportunity of of curriculum and academic opportunities, and develop that love of learning, that lifelong love of learning that hopefully we try and endure in them all. Reading is so important, and we have the reader curriculum. The tutors actually read to the students every morning. They do various books that the whole class kind of listen to, and listen to an experienced reader reading them to them, and the students have really taken that on board this year and are really enjoying it in the tutor time. Just so you're aware that all the lessons are taught in tutor group throughout the year 7, with the exception of maths, which will be set just sometime in the autumn term. So the reasoning for that is to ensure that we build that team, and that the students are really comfortable as a tutor group, and our staff are skilled enough to be able to teach on that mixed ability level and ensure we meet the needs of all the students in our care. One of my main responsibilities in school is I'm the designated safeguarding lead of school, as well as the head of Key Stage 3, and obviously safeguarding is a absolute priority both inside and outside school. I just wanted to say at this point, you have our unconditional and without judgment support for anything that might happen, and please, all you have to do is contact the head of year team or our safeguarding team, and we'll do absolutely everything that we can help, because the one thing I said on the evening was the students grow so much from year 6 as they are now up to when they're year 13, and you can see that in the pictures on the evening from how much our head students had grown and developed into the individuals they are, and there are bumps in the road, there are problems that we have to deal with, but I just want you to assure you that we do everything we can to support that, and as a designated team to do that alongside the mental health and first aid team, because there is no distinction for us between physical health and mental health, so we do make sure we work really hard at that. Many of our staff are actually first aid mental health trained staff, so we're aware and we can really intervene really quickly if there's any problems that come up. And to complement that, the PSHE and what's called PBT, or personal best time lessons, really give the opportunity to the students to develop and query and question and get themselves engrossed in some difficult, if you think about the young people that we've in our care, they're turning from an obviously an old primary school student, but a young teenager as such, and they develop so much until they're either 16 or 18 when they leave us. So I think we're very good at managing that, and I want to offer that opportunity that you will always get our support. Citizenship and the community always amazes me how much money we raise for charity, and how engaged the students are and how willing they are to give of their time and their endeavours to do the best they can, and there's so many opportunities to develop that rounded citizenship and put things back into the community, and it's something that I'm really proud of in Key Stage 3 and 4, that we do such an incredible job to develop that teamwork and those team exercises. And students do it sometimes individually, sometimes a group, sometimes a whole year group, but active citizenship within the community is something that we really drive, and the students take great pleasure in what they do from that. Developing the next level of leaders is one of our core values as well, and one of our personal development strands, and that's giving students that opportunity even in year 7 just to be a leader. And the students will have a sixth former within their tutor group that will help them, the eye leaders, with sports leaders as well, and giving students that opportunity to challenge themselves to become a leader, and the idea being then to be a leader of the future, and when they're ready to join the workforce, they can use those skills to develop their career in the best way that they possibly can. This is a real strength of the school because of the commitment of the staff, but there's lots of opportunities to getting things involved around just the normal curriculum in extracurricular sports, extracurricular interests, extracurricular creative arts groups and so on, and it's a real privilege to see how amazing some of the the students get at some of the sports and the high levels that they achieve, but also the teamwork that goes on in the creative arts area. And this year's production was amazing, and it's lovely to see Year 7s working with Year 13s, and all the backstage group as well, making sure that it's really seamless, and the students can develop those and take opportunity. And the one thing I will be saying at the roadshow to all the students is, even if you've never tried football, or you've never been on the stage, or you've never tried anything, get involved. And that's one of the things that we always explain to the students, to try and have a go at doing that. IGS has changed so much in the time I've been at school, and I've been here over 20 years. But one of the areas that we're incredibly proud of is the way that the school's developed into such a respectful, equal and diverse society. We really make sure that we work so hard with all the students to embrace and respect each other, and respect the diversity that there is in such a big organisation. 2,100 students on site, and if you think about all the staff and all the parents that are involved as well, it's a huge organisation. And to allow the students time to develop those understanding is the PSHE curriculum, that's complemented by assemblies, and just really gives a rounded approach. The anti-bullying team work really carefully, and again, it's another vertical group between Year 7 and 13, and they've actually published a book that was pretty widely sold, to of how to for young people to sort of challenge and call out bullying, and how damaging it can be. So, they're fantastic to see how the students have developed over the time, and how the schools had to change in a modern society. Discovery and Adventure, the Key Stage 3 group have just returned from the Alps. They had an incredibly long wait at Dover at the start of the Easter holidays, but there's lots of enrichment opportunities, Nellbank being the first one when they get there with us in September. But further up the school, there's lots of enrichment opportunities, curriculum trips and enrichment trips. We've got some of the longest standing exchange visits in the entire country with Coutances, a school over in France, who again just been over to Ilkley to join us. And there are trips to all parts of Europe and the world. The opportunity to get involved in things and widen those horizons is great. And getting the students ready for the next steps, and I think from a school point of view, readying the students for the next steps of their career, whether it be in education or in a job or apprenticeship off to university, is a measure to some extent of the quality work that we do with the students, and how we get the students ready to leave us. This year we had the biggest group of students that had been given offers for Oxford and Cambridge, and there's 12 students there, and the picture's just there of the students that have been offered those opportunities to join the world-class universities. But when you do get a chance to visit IGS, the one thing I do encourage you to look to the destinations board that's in the foyer, and you can see the wide-ranging areas that the students go into, not just into university, but off into high-level apprenticeships and into jobs and careers that they do so well in. So those 8 slides just given a flavour of what the school is about. If you do have any queries about them on the website, there's more detail about all those different areas. And just move on to the iPad scheme. Again, this is slightly after the event now, but you should have received an email from us from our partner agency that's called Eden. They help us to procure the iPads and manage the iPads for us. and they're a fantastic group, as well as our iPad team as well in school. And there are lots of options there. The best thing to do is to kind of look on the website and see what is best for you. You can bring your own device as well, and we've loosened the rules on those things, and as long as they have certain things on them that allow us to get them onto the Wi-Fi and so on. But the package this year is a 9th generation iPad with a protective case, screen protector, and 3 years breakage insurance as well. If you are a pupil premium student, you receive a 50% discount on the price there. It's not a hard sell from our point of view. We're happy to work with different families and try and ensure the things, but we are an iPad school, and they offer a real a massive amount of positivity and opportunity for students to do things differently while they're in school. If you do have any questions, there's a flyer that I'll make sure there's a copy of on the website, and the link to the website here. If you have a look at the 6 to 7 transition page, all the details, and this is where this recording will be as well, so you can work your way around that. You will get, and you will have already had an email about the iPad scheme, so that's kind of already gone, but please try and sign up as soon as you possibly can for that. If you have any questions about tonight, you obviously can't see the school leadership team, but what you can do is email transition@ilkleygs.co.uk, and that will either get through to myself or Mrs Varley, and we'll do everything we can to answer the questions. Same if you've got any SEND queries, if you email inclusivelearning@ilkleygs.co.uk, and they will do everything they can to answer any SEND questions that you might have. And I do look forward, hopefully, meeting you all in the flesh on the 13th of July for the presentation evening. I hope that's been useful. I've run through it quite quickly because listening to my voice won't be the most interesting thing that you have to do when it's just over a screen like this. So I hope that's given you a flavour of what the evening was about. If you've got any questions, just email them in to us. Thank you. Good night.